All right, I think we're going. Heck yes. Welcome to the Healthcare Digital Marketing Live Facebook Ads Masterclass Q&A. Wow, that was a mouthful. But we're here today talking about Facebook ads after an entire week of diving into ad copy, overview of what Facebook ads are, how to use them, where they fit into your marketing, how to actually do targeting, how to set up split tests like Will talked about yesterday. We want this to be about you and your questions and walking through the actual issues that you guys have. So thank you guys for being here. Let's introduce yourselves real quick if you can. Cameron, tell us who you are. A lot of people know you already. Tell us what you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, so PT, are we all PTs or is there a mix?
I think right now on the call, everyone's a PT.
Okay, so PT in Ogden, Utah, I do both metabolic testing as well as traditional outpatient orthopedic physical therapy. So metabolic testing, VO2 testing, I do both resting tests and exercise tests. The idea is we help people learn more about their metabolism, how they should eat and exercise to maximize every fitness effort so that everything that they're doing is designed for their body in particular.
And tell us about your, how long have you been running Facebook ads?
Well, so my first Facebook ad was probably in 2015 and it was not pretty. So I boosted a few posts. So that was pre like full Facebook ad days, I believe. But then they came out shortly thereafter after I boosted my first couple of posts. But effectively it was last spring.
Good stuff. Let's see, Joseph. You're up, man, or Joe. Sorry, man. I see Joseph on your thing.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
You're good, man. Joe, tell us who you are, where you're from, and your Facebook ad experience up to this point.
Physical therapist, Pueblo, Colorado. I guess I probably placed my first Facebook ad 6 to 9 months ago. Just real basic email collection type thing. I guess it's a lead magnet. Which, oh my gosh, I've had the thing running for so long. I don't even know what the heck it is. That's really funny. Yeah, so I'm a novice at it though. I mean, I gotta tell you, I don't know what I'm doing. I just kind of did it. Yeah, it gets me some emails, but I think probably at 1/5 of what I could do once I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
$5 a day, and it's just really the whole reason I put it out was to start building my email list to sell my course to. But really, at $5 a day, I should probably have 3 to 4 times as many emails as I have, I believe. So that's where I'm at.
Awesome. Mac, how about you?
All right. I'm a PT also. So I've been running Facebook ads, starting a cash-based PT business. So really interested in using Facebook ads to get patients and clients. So been running Facebook ads for maybe since I've been learning about it since July of last year. Started running them maybe in September, October. So been doing it really for digital products, digital marketing and stuff like that versus actual physical therapy. So I'm really trying to learn how to turn that around into working with people versus real life people that I'm going to see versus just people over the internet. So that's kind of where I am right now. I'm trying to make sure it's optimized for healthcare.
Love it. Well, it sounds like the common story that I think all of us have gone through. That first round of Facebook ads it's a jungle, right? It's so confusing. What am I doing? It took me months to even learn you could split test. For a while, I just thought I'm going to put one thing up there and see what happens. And then you start to realize there's an art to it. And so what I think is really cool is that from all of you guys is that we haven't given up, right? I think there's a common thing that you run one, doesn't work, and it was a failed experiment. I'm never coming back. I don't know. Cameron, how'd you feel after that first one?
Well, I was pretty encouraged because you see all the numbers at first and it's whoa, that got a reach to 3,000 people. That was awesome, And then you realize that didn't bring any butts in the door and it's maybe that wasn't so cool. So at first I was pretty stoked though. Look at how many people saw that.
Yeah. That's such a good point too, because Facebook does everything they can to show you oh my gosh, this ad was amazing. Look at all the reach. Look at the impressions.
Right.
And it can sort of give you a false sense of like, yes, this is awesome. But at the end of the day, Cameron, you're totally right. Like if it doesn't bring in what the object of the ad is, if it doesn't bring in new leads or like get you new email addresses, or if people aren't signing up for your lead magnet that you're offering them, then like, so you got to keep that in mind, because Facebook's going to throw all these things at you saying, oh yes, look how wonderful your Facebook ad went. So that's good to keep in mind. Like we need to have an ultimate objective, and we need to measure, was that objective reached with this ad or not? So that you can have a real sense of how things are going. Dude, I like that. Nice comparison. So I wanted to share a little bit about our metrics at some point today, because we just did a really interesting split test review. And I just wanted to give one little nugget before we dive into this. As I was looking through Body Smart's ads, we had run a really successful campaign that brought in something like 35 leads in the course of about a month, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Cameron?
Yeah, maybe a little over a month, because we ran it in like chunks and a week gap in there or something like that. But yeah. What's
up, Casey? Thanks for coming on, man. So we had run this ad, and as I was going back to look at the stuff, I always split test the ad copy, which is the words that are on there. I split test the headline, and I split test the images or the videos, right? Now, so I was looking at the biggest things are usually your ad copy and your image or the video. And so I was looking at the copy. I noticed one thing stood out to me. We've been testing voucher versus coupon. And this will segue into, I think, a lot of conversation in this call. We found that by far the word voucher outperformed the word coupon in our ads, both in headlines and in ad copy. And I thought that was really interesting. I wanted to start off the conversation with what you guys think the difference is between voucher and copy, and why that changes things for people when they're looking at Facebook. So voucher was way more successful, which means more clicks and cheaper clicks. Why do y'all think that voucher would be more desirable than coupon to people in an ad? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I think people associate coupons with little things you clip out of the paper to get a quarter off a can of beans or something. You know, it's not worth much.
Yeah, I think you could see coupon getting a feeling of cheap and not valuable, right? Because you can get a $500 voucher to get, off for your TV, off your $5,000 TV, and that feels good. But if you have a coupon, it's like you said, 25 cents off your grocery bill. Like, whatever.
I love it. Cameron, you had some thoughts too, right?
Yeah, it was exactly along those lines of the value of it, right? Like, if something has a perceived value, then it's definitely going to be valued more in their eyes than something that is a coupon implies that it's a discount off of something instead of like something that inherently has value in and of itself. Does that make sense? And so I think that's why a voucher maybe speaks to people more.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'll be able to go exchange this for services instead of I'll still have to pay a little bit.
Ooh, that's deep. Jeez, Cameron, I like that.
Yeah, deep thoughts from a shallow pool. That's the name of my next book.
I could see that being highly successful.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, Casey, if you're just jumping on, we're just starting to talk about Facebook ads and where everyone's at. We'd love to hear, Casey, what have you done in your experience? If you're comfortable saying it, what have you done with Facebook ads before, Casey? I'm going to unmute you here.
Am I good?
Yeah, you're good. Yep.
All right. So with Facebook ads, am I still there?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got you.
All right. So with Facebook ads, we haven't done much at all yet. So most of our ads, or quote unquote ads, are pretty much organic type of reach through our Facebook group, Facebook page, Instagram, other social media avenues as well. So we haven't started quite yet with ads, but mostly organic reach.
Yeah. Awesome, Casey. I love it. You guys have been crushing on the organic side, so I don't even know that you need ads yet, to be honest. So well.
Appreciate it.
growing so fast. I think we should start real quick with something in that before we, Casey, bring up a good point, and something that you reminded me of something, and that is, if we're going to run ads, we have to have an end goal in mind, right? So I think a lot of times I see boosted posts, or I see a lot of ads that say that are promoting a page, for example. Joe, you and I have talked about this, about promoting a page, for example. The ultimate goal is we have to know what the ultimate goal is in the end, right? If it is to get likes on your business page, all right, it makes sense to promote your ad for people to like your page, right? If you're Casey, it doesn't make sense to run an ad for, to just get Casey, I'm going to mute you, man, if I can.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Got him. It doesn't make a lot of sense to run an ad, let's say, to bring in clients, and we're running an ad to promote your page, right? That's a different result, right? Facebook is so smart, the algorithm is smart, that whatever goal you set for it, it's going to do its best to achieve that goal. So let's say, Joe, you want someone to buy your plantar fasciitis course, and you say, I'm going to run an ad to promote my page. Well, Facebook doesn't care about anyone buying your course. They care about as many people liking your page. And I really think it's important that we think about the end goal in mind before we create our ad, and how we want that to go. And secondly, that your ad is just a component of this funnel experience of where someone's going. You can have the most incredible ad in the world, but let's remember, someone's got to click on an ad to take an action. The ad itself does not provide an action for someone. You've got to take an action from that ad. Where is that taking someone to, right? So I've seen a lot of advertisements that just take someone to their, when I click on them, they take me to just a homepage of a website, and I have no further instruction of what, right? It's just, hey, check out our clinic. If you need help for low back pain, come on in. And then you click the link, and you're like, yeah, I'm interested. And you get to the homepage of the website of the clinic, and you're like, I don't know what to do now.
Yeah.
Do I call someone? Should I eat? You know what? I'm probably just going to see if there's something else out here. That's our process. So before we really dive into questions, just want to keep in mind, to hone in, that we need to have a plan, right? Otherwise, we're just shooting fish in a barrel. And Facebook's algorithm is so smart that if you just set up for link clicks, for example, for people to click the link, and you don't set, for example, that you want someone to take an action from that, Facebook's just going to say, who out of your pool of people that you're looking for have a behavior of clicking links, right? That's all it's going to care about. It's not going to care about the right type of person. It's just going to care about the type of person who matches the behavior of what you're looking for. So, and I think that's where we also get really specific about our audience. But I just wanted to start out with that we need to have a goal at the end, right? We can't just say, oh, I want to run a Facebook ad, which we can. You can experiment. But I think if you want to have a successful Facebook ad, we need to start from the end of what are we hoping to achieve, and then back up it before we even create that ad. So does that make sense?
It does, Will, but did you say that really Facebook, no matter what you really want to do, Facebook's really just going to go for people liking the page, or did I totally lose you there? And if you're going to get into it, just let's get to it later. But
no, so Facebook, so when we get into the ad platform, it's going to give you options of what you would like to achieve, right? So that can be, you set a goal for link clicks. You can set it for like liking a page, video views, right?
Right.
Facebook, if we don't tell it that we're looking for conversions, for example, and this is a little bit deeper, but for example, if we're not telling Facebook the behavior that we want,
right,
Facebook's going to do the behavior that you tell it, right? And so if you say, I want page likes, right, it's going to find people within the group that you're searching out who have a history of liking pages.
Yeah. Oh, I get you. Thanks for clarifying.
It's all behavior oriented, right? So let's say Cameron and Mac both buy shoes a lot, right? Or they both like business pages a lot. Like they like every group, every group that they follow, every organization, they always like their business page, right? Maybe this person, Joe, you're going to reach a giant group of people, and it might not be people who actually like you or plantar fasciitis, people who love to like business pages. They're going to go because it's going to show up in your stats that say you've got so many people have liked your business page. That's how Facebook works.
Got it. That helps. Thank you.
So it depends on what you're going for there. If you want more likes so that you have like ability to leverage that for things like affiliate links and stuff like that, that could be fine. But if you're a clinic and looking for butts in the door, It's useless.
Well, and something that's interesting that just got posted in the group yesterday by Jared is the idea that Facebook's going to really start limiting the reach of business pages. And that, I mean, that's something that we've sort of started to see anyway. They're testing in other parts of the world right now where you don't show up in someone's feed. If you're a business page, you don't show up in someone's feed unless they like specifically say that they want to follow you. That's why we think that Facebook groups are so important and that your own personal page is really important. And Brienne, who's in the group as well, she'll tell you firsthand that her best engagement comes on her personal page, sharing to her business page, which is an interesting thought. But Facebook does not love business pages. And so as you're thinking through, well, gosh, I'm going to build up all the likes on my business page. Ultimately, that may be kind of a fruitless effort going into 2018 and 2019. I'm not sure that at this point I would run a Facebook like campaign anymore for a business page.
Yeah.
At least not paid for.
Yeah, and the way that it's going too, I mean, if you think about, Joe, there's been this history of I'm just going to get as many people as I can to like my page.
Right.
But if we think about running advertisements, right, and creating custom audiences, and let's say you want to get people in your door, running, for example, we have a client who, they have over 1,000 some likes on their business page, right? We broke down the stats. Less than only 300, right around 300, actually lived within a 60-mile radius of her clinic, right? So now if we're going to run an ad that's about coming into her clinic to that audience, the number of likes doesn't. In fact, it's probably going to hurt us more because 70% of those people don't even live within a range of seeing her.
Yeah, it throws off your lookalike audience big time.
It does. Well, but then that's where you can get into making sure that you limit to a geographic area that you're serving ads to. But I think we get a false sense of security of I have 1,000 people who've liked me when it's really only 300 relevant ones.
So what if you're trying to get those likes, for example, for social proof, in order to, is that beneficial there?
Yeah. It improves your street cred, right? A little bit that you have that you have lots of likes. I can see that.
It does. I think one thing that's interesting, I think that you can get enough of that just from your personal page. Like just from your own personal profile. If you were to invite your friends to like your page, I think you could get the street cred just from that, if nothing else. I mean, if you've got 10 people that have liked your business page, that's obviously not going to be that great. But if you have even 100 people from your friends list that do it, I think that's a great place to start. And as you're posting content and sharing to your business page, again, I'm just not sure I'd ever pay for likes now at this point.
Yeah. I think engagement probably is more important. I don't know. Like that shows more credibility than how many likes.
So Mac, I think it's going to be a massive combination of all of your profiles, right, across social media, your website. Very, very rarely do we jump right to one and after viewing one, especially nowadays. If I wanted to go to Body Smart and I saw an ad from Body Smart, I'm going to check out the ad. And I'll probably look them up on Google to maybe see the address, and I'll see if any 5 stars pop up. Then maybe what I'll do is I'll go to the to the website or the testimonials on the website. Like I'm trying to find ways to process to justify my decision. I've already made it in my mind pretty much yes or no. Now it's can I confirm it or am I gonna is it gonna be changed? Some outstanding testimonial, which I've yet to come across a website that has testimonials that absolutely bashes practice, but could be out there, right? Like could be out there.
They are actually. Hey, I wanted to say one quick thing too. As we're going through this today, if you have specific questions that you don't want to forget, you can leave them in the chat here. If you're live on the call, leave them in the Zoom chat down at the bottom of your screen, and we'll get to them on this call. If you're on the replay, you can comment down below on Facebook with your questions, and we'll try to get to them. But just so that you don't forget them, feel free to just type them in the chat as we're going, and we'll get to them.
So, do you guys mind if I just recap? I'm clearly the most one on Facebook ads on this call, so I apologize. But yeah, basically, like what I was going to do with my coaching page, which is I don't know if it's really a business page, but it's a
public figure page, sort of, right? It's like that. Yeah.
Well, really, I was literally looking at my instructions I was going to do. I was going to do that. I was going to just run a campaign page promotion ad just to get likes. And we're saying, yeah, that's just not going to do anything for me. And that's exactly what I want to hear if that's the case. I mean, I'm not going to blow. I need to,
Right.
it's a lot more complicated than that. If, just having likes, is that going to sell my course? I don't think so. I need to get people to this page in other ways that start engaging with me and asking me questions about plantar fascia, and I'm throwing out videos, right? So how the hell do I do that?
So there's this guy named Dennis Yu, I think, YU. He runs a company called Blitz Metrics, which you can look into. And I heard him speak a couple of months ago in San Francisco. And he talked about that the public profile page, right? And his strategy is, and I haven't done this yet, but I've been watching him over the past 6 months, and it works. His strategy is he'll produce content posts, and he finds the posts that work best, that get the most engagement, etc., just organically. Maybe you start doing that on your personal page. Maybe you post in some groups. You find the posts that work best, and then he's boosting those posts. Well, he's technically running an ad for $1 a day with those posts, so that more people are seeing his content from that public profile page, and that's what ends up getting him likes, more engagement, etc. That's something to consider. That's not something I've done, but that is like his thing, is the $1 a day posts. And I guess it's the idea is we're leveraging your good content that you already know people like, and putting it out there to more people so that they come to your page and then engage with you there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I have some content on there, but yeah, I haven't boosted any of it. So that, I think, is what we're saying could be a strategy. Rather, pick my favorite video, what I think is going to be the best video, or what a client thinks. Boost that, try to get people to go that. Now, again, this is a separate page though, right? This is not my personal page. Are we also kind of saying
Correct.
that maybe that's getting away from that, and you got to really run everything through your personal page? But if you could have an emphasis on that one topic to sell a course or get people in the door or whatever. But is that kind of what we're saying? Like, is it not? Because I'm really just in the very early phases of that. A question if I should keep spending time on that plantar fasciitis coaching page to sell my course or not.
Oh man, that's a great question. I'll give you my quick thoughts, and then I'll let anyone else chime in. I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm going to mute you here so there's not feedback. I'm not sure that that you need to totally dump that public profile of that coach page. They treat those a little bit differently than straight up business pages. But I would say the best place to start is your own personal page, like your own profile. Just because you have a circle of friends who already know, like, and trust you and can support you. And this is in general how I think about marketing. And if we're doing it the best way, I think this is how we should be doing it. We start at the lowest hanging fruit, which is the people who already know us, already like us, already trust us. And we put out something there. We plant a seed, and we see what is the response to this from people who already like me. And if we don't get a good response to that material, why would I start spending money on that for people who don't know, like, and trust me, right? So start there at kind of that easiest place. And then we branch that out to maybe then that's to your public profile page, right? Your coaching page. From there, we see, hey, does this work if I put it out to a little bit of a broader audience that doesn't quite know me on a personal level, but is sort of following me professionally? If they like and comment and engage with the stuff there and you know it's good, that's when I would start actually running ads to that content. So we're going from people who most know and trust me to people who just sort of know about me to people who don't know about me. And that way we're refining the content that we're putting out there and only spending money on stuff that we know people actually respond to before we're dumping a whole budget into it. That would be my approach to it, Joe. And that's how I'm working with one client right now who's a nutritionist who's creating her own course. And that's what we're starting with. She's got great response on her personal page. She shared some stuff to her business page. We'll start building that up, and then we'll go to the ad side. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that helps a lot. Thanks.
Question on that.
Yeah.
I'm struggling on building up my personal brand because prior to doing this, I pretty much posted when I had a child. So I have a fair amount of followers, not a ton, but like I'm not used to doing that, and that's not really in my wheelhouse either, of like just posting a bunch of stuff that to me isn't all that meaningful. So I know that's a big thing for you, is like only post if it is meaningful. But like I struggle to come up with content that's, I think part of it for me, it has to be polished if I'm going to put it out there. That's a problem.
Yeah. And that's tough, right? I think, Cameron, what I always think about with a personal brand is like maybe once every week. Well, lately I started to do a little series, but normally lately once a week I'll make it about, something. Honestly, it's whenever I feel like it, which is very rarely. Post something personal about, not educational or instructional, but 99% of the time is educational, instructional, or entertaining around something educational, instructional, because your brand's got to be about something, right? You can't be, I don't want to just be Will Boyd, this guy who exists and he's just always on social media. It's like the YouTube kid that you never know what they're talking about. And you're like, why does this kid have a YouTube channel? And there's nothing really there other than it's either entertainment or something, right? But if you want to be known as, hey, that's Cameron, the guy who helps people stay healthy, then you make your content, like your brand comes through you, right? And how you convey your message to people. I'll just tell you, that's my personal social media philosophy. I only post positive things, or if it's a down thing, that it's spun into a positive way. And I only do educational or instructional content. I just think right now, the way social media is, you personally, I think when you shift from a personal thing, Facebook personal world, to it's my professional business world, the game changes completely. And it just becomes this tool for you to create whatever it is that you want to create. That's how I approach it. I don't know if that helps, but that's how I view it when I do it.
Yeah. Cameron, you've known me for a long time, and you've seen over the past year how things have, how I've adapted and things. The best piece of advice I got was from a guy who's he's a social media influencer or mini influencer, I guess. And he said, we were on a call one day, actually in the Body Smart studio. I was sitting right there where you were at, Cameron. And he told me, Alex, your personal Facebook page can no longer just be for connecting with family and friends. If you want to make a go of it online and you want to be earning money through social media, that essentially needs to be your business card. And that for me was a big mindset shift. Now, y'all who know me personally know I haven't been posting on my personal page hardly at all. Mostly because I've been so busy with other projects and posting in groups and stuff that I haven't done a good job on my personal site. Now it's a little bit different for me right now. Stuff is working better in a Facebook group. So that's where I'm putting all my time into it. Why would I focus somewhere else if that's where things are working right now? But for each of you who are sitting here thinking, how do I start building that momentum? Think about how can you turn your Facebook page into something that's a little bit more like a LinkedIn profile. That the first description of you is a little bit more business oriented, right? You have an opportunity to say, Cameron Garber, physical therapist, or the guy that helps people get back into shape by understanding their body, whatever that ends up being. So that when people are, responding to your friend requests, they stalk you just a little bit. They see that first thing, and there's your business card. They say, oh, great. Cameron's the guy who helps people get healthy by understanding their body. That's cool. What's his content on his personal page? They'll go through your personal page. And this, almost every time I get someone that I friend, I'm reaching out to them personally, and I send them a quick little video saying, hey, thanks so much for friending me. Glad we connected. Then they'll go through my personal page, and I'll get these likes and comments on my personal page feed. And it's so weird to me, but people will do that. And if you've been consistently posting about things that matter to you that are aligned with your brand identity, you'll get likes and comments on that. And then that gets reboosted into people's newsfeed, which is so weird. But Facebook loves it. For example, when I created my first LLC, I made this big announcement post about it. And I was, and Casey, I talked with you and Joseph about doing this too. I know Joseph did this. When I made my LLC, I made a big, personal thing about it. And I got lots of likes and comments. But then as I kept getting friend requests, people would see that post and they'd like and comment on it. And then I get a whole flood of new likes and comments because one person had had engaged on it. And then all of a sudden it pushes it out to a bunch of people's news feeds for free. So talk about Facebook advertising. Like that's organic advertising, right? Without having to pay it, but Facebook keeps boosting that crap out to everyone. Mm-hmm. So even though I haven't done a ton on there, the little that I have done that's business oriented gets pushed out over and over and over. So I would strongly recommend posting, we talk about these high value posts all the time, posting business related things on your personal page and seeing it no longer as just a way to connect with your family and friends.
So my workouts. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. Okay. So I was thinking of something happened where it was an accident that I might turn into an actual strategy. So I went to a course. With a huge influencer, in our industry. Took a picture with him. Just like, hey, let's get a picture. I posted on my Instagram, and I was like, you know what? I'll share it to my fan page, right? And then I shared my fan page to my personal page, and I got the most engagement on Instagram that I've ever gotten on anything I've ever posted in my life. And it was like, hey, great course with so-and-so, having fun at dinner, lots of knowledge being shared, blah, 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 and just tag, hashtag whatever, and then share that and just kind of share it down the line. I mean, is that a strategy you can use for, getting patients and getting leads? Or is
Sounds
that just like a cool thing to do
100%.
that happened one time?
No, man. I would say 100%, and then we'll jump in on this. Breanne Brown is a perfect example of this. She's running her business essentially completely from her personal Facebook page. You've seen how many posts she's doing. She's cranking out content, and I speak with her about this on nearly a daily basis, about how she's getting patients from those personal Facebook, Instagram posts, because she's friending people all the time, right? You have a 5,000 friend limit. We should all be pushing to get there and using Facebook, our own personal profiles, as a business network, as a lead generation source. Because now Breanne will post something on there. She gets people who are like, dang, I've got knee pain. That's awesome. I have questions for you. You engage with them on on a messenger conversation, say, hey, we should look at this in the clinic. Would you like to come in? I've got this discovery visit or whatever we're calling it. Come on in. So yes, you can definitely use it for lead generation. Will, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I mean, I actually just thought of something I never thought of before, and that's like creating two Facebook profiles, and one's your fun profile and one's your still personal profile, but business oriented, and I wonder if that'll be the way that things go at some point to get around this. But I think if we take about the news from yesterday, right? Facebook wants people messaging people, not brands, businesses, organizations with people. So if you're going to create posts from your business page, what they really want is people commenting on other people's comments. They want engagement. They want people interacting with people. So if you comment as your business page back to someone else, that's not a person-to-person communication. That's a business-to-person communication still. Facebook wants person-to-person communication. So that's why anything coming from your personal profile is going to get put out way more often, because you're a person reaching another person. Does that make sense?
If not, he'll come in.
Okay.
Yeah,
Joe,
hey guys, I have a quick question. If I'm sorry, if I butted in at the wrong point, but
no, go for it.
So, were you guys done talking? I'm sorry, I was just trying to walk out of here. And
no, go ahead, Joe.
Okay, just because it seems to pertain to what we were just talking about, is it actually okay to have two different profiles like that? I kind of accidentally wound up with that, where I have like a professional one, but then I have my personal one I've had for a long time. I thought that was like discouraged or not allowed, or they can like kick you off. But you're saying you could have a personal one under, say, Joe Rizik, and then I could have a Joseph Rizik or something with more of that LinkedIn-ish style attributes. Is that true?
I'm not recommending that, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I would be curious to see if that starts happening. I don't know Facebook's policy on that. My guess is they don't like that.
Yeah, I think they said they could boot you like completely, and I was like, oh crap, I kind of did it without even knowing you weren't supposed to a year ago, and I haven't deleted that other one, so maybe I better look into that. I just thought since you guys brought up, you might know about it, and I wasn't sure if you were saying like you should do that. Okay,
yeah,
no, I wouldn't do it that. No.
And I
so
just
I should delete my other one.
If you can, I don't think it'd be a bad thing. I want to introduce you guys, if you haven't seen or read this book yet, Expert Secrets. It talks a lot about this, about building your persona as a brand. Check that book out if you haven't. Cameron, I'm going to have to give you a copy of it. But I think anymore, we have to remember that people, like Will said, people respond to people, and we can take cues from Facebook that they're just more and more honing us in towards this. And I think it doesn't mean that, hey, if I've got now a business oriented Facebook page, if I'm turning my personal Facebook page into more of a business oriented thing, it doesn't mean you can't put your own persona into that. Like that's still what makes people continue to know, like, and trust you, is that you're a human. And that, I think about, and again, I'll go back to Brienne because she had mentioned this the other day. Some of her best posts have been the ones where she'll post about her CrossFit performance, and she'll do these CrossFit competitions, and you guys have maybe seen them where she's like deadlifting stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's not business oriented. She's not teaching people something about CrossFit, but she's showing, hey, look, I'm a CrossFitter and I'm freaking amazing at it. She doesn't say that, but those things got so much traction that when she then says, oh, hey, how do you get rid of hip flexor tightness? People pay attention because they're like, oh, I remember Brienne showing me how good she was at this. I should pay attention. So I don't think it's bad to have some personal stuff on there at all, but just, if it's relevant to your brand and it helps people get to know you, I think that's awesome. Cameron, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, Cameron, I want to hear Cameron's question.
I just wanted to ask Cameron, do you remember when we did the giveaway campaign for Facebook a couple of months ago, and then we followed it up with Facebook Messenger posts?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that experience briefly and what we did?
That was awesome. So that was an interesting experience. So we filmed individualized video back to each person that opted in. Is that the one you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we just taking that, literally it limited us to 15 seconds. You can do a longer one now, but back then, you could only do a 15-second video clip. And so, like, I had to figure out how to say it within 15 seconds, but it was pretty much just hey, thank you so much for opting in. Here's what you get, blah, 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 blah. And got awesome response for that. People responded right away. Within like a day, most people had responded back, and we booked, I think, 9 out of the 12 responders or something like that.
Yeah. And that was off of a giveaway campaign. So to give you some context, we did a giveaway campaign, and the last day, anyone who had entered in the last day but didn't win, we personally reached out to them through Facebook Messenger saying, hey, thanks so much. You didn't win, but we wanted to offer you this.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It was that you didn't win offer.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we told them, hey, you lost, but because you entered, we wanted to say thank you to everyone that entered, and we want to offer you a free such and such, right? It was like a 15-minute thing. But the personalization of that, I had someone, my sister-in-law was in that group, and I hadn't sent her the message Cameron had, but she said, it's the funniest thing. Like, when Cameron sent me that message, I felt like I had to come in because he took the time to reach out to me personally. And that was like, whoa, wait, what? Like, she felt obligated to come in because we had personally reached out to her. And that thought had never crossed my mind. I would think, oh yeah, I came in because it sounded like a great deal. But it was like, oh, someone took the time to reach out to me individually, so now I feel obligated. How awesome is that? So that's just another way that we can think of in terms of reaching out to people. Use Facebook Messenger personally, and so powerful. Sorry, Cameron.
No. I think that's spot on, that using video, just short little video clips, really is effective, because you lose so much in translation with text that the nuance, the excitement in your voice, the empathy or caring in your voice, that's just, you can't replicate that any other way.
I love that. So Mac, you asked a question, what kind of targeting works best? Interest-based targeting, behavior-based targeting. Do you want to just talk about the differences between those, or do you want to know, like, tell us a little bit about your situation, Mac? I'm going to unmute you here. Tell us a little bit about what you're thinking with that.
So I'm thinking behavior based, like, or interest based, more like someone who is more interested in yoga, or someone who's interested in just like for my patient population, female athlete or pregnant, postpartum, that kind of thing. Someone who's interested in, I'm trying to think of some stuff, but something in that field, something in that arena. So they're interested in a product, or they're interested in an influencer, or a specific athlete, versus someone who has a, maybe I know Facebook is crazy about what they know about us, like a certain shopping style of behavior, or they convert on so and so things. I'm not exactly sure of most of the ones I'll be looking at anyway yet, but is there one that you guys find is more that converts better?
So I would say, Will, do you want to jump in? I've got a thought, but if you wanted to take it, okay. I can't tell you from our data because I haven't split tested that out well enough yet. But what I can tell you is a little bit of my theory about it and what I've learned from someone who's really, really good at this. And that is that behavior-based targeting works better than interest-based targeting. Behavior-based is more effective than interest-based. Here's my thoughts on this. Behavior-based is often like people checking in at certain places, right? Like checking in at Orange Theory. That's a behavior. Facebook knows they go to the gym. Another behavior base can be got married in such and such time, right? Like that happened. Versus interest based that can come from things like liking certain pages, right? And think about how many times you like a page just because somebody invites you to like a page, or just because like they had a cool giveaway or something, so you liked it. I don't know that that's the reason. I really don't. That's my theory on it, is that behavior-based stuff actually happened and interest-based stuff can be a little bit more in flux. So I just don't know if the accuracy of what Facebook is predicting there is off between the two. That's my thought. Will, do you have any thoughts there?
Mac, I'd say one thing to think about is, so if we're thinking about a clinic in a geographical area that has sort of a certain radius that we're going to work within, that behaviors and interests, I'm with Alex, I think behaviors are probably far going to outweigh interests. But I also think you don't want to limit your audience size so much. Like, we want to make sure that you're not getting so specific that we're eliminating. So Facebook's algorithm needs a certain amount of population data to really be effective. So if you're getting it down to like multiple behaviors and you've got like 400 potential people that it could reach, in your mind, it might seem great, and that's the perfect person, but Facebook might not have enough data to really process all of that and make your ads effective. So I'm a little bit more hesitant in the beginning to say, let's analyze behavior, let's delve out by behavior. Now, if your audience is like, 600,000 people, great, we could start to hone that in, But I would almost rather start small with a smaller area around your clinic, with less sort of segmenting to start. And then if you're seeing the results that you don't want, I would branch out and then maybe segment. So you get a bigger population, but you can segment and then hone in, is how I would handle that. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So something that Alex said kind of clicked. So, for example, someone got married. Like when I was getting ready to get married, I was getting Men's Warehouse ads all over the place. Like, how do they know I'm getting married? I never told them I was getting married, So I understand the pixel and the retargeting and all that, right? So, for example, behavior-based, someone who just got pregnant, that's something I guess I could target, or I have to figure out how to target that in the long run. And then, so when we're talking about figuring out a small location and then just kind of going wide on it, and based on my location, I've been wondering about ad sets in a campaign, and it's kind of shifting off of that a little bit. Where do you want to do multiple ad sets in one campaign, and let Facebook decide? I know you guys talked about it before. Or do you want to kind of do multiple campaigns with a wider, broad stroke?
Will, do you want to take this one on first?
Mac, you could go either way. I honestly prefer one campaign with multiple ad sets. I think you can sort of you can peel apart the details better. You can really start to analyze what's working and what's not. Whereas multiple campaigns we're looking at, it's just a lot more to have to peel apart.
Yeah.
That's my preference.
Yeah. Campaigns are for specific objectives, right? You change campaigns based on your objective. Ad sets are for audience changes. So, and targeting. So if you're changing an audience, change it at the ad set level. If you're changing what your overall target is for the ad, change a campaign.
Yeah. So let's say, for example, Mac, if you went old school and wanted page likes versus actual people coming in your clinic, those would be two separate campaigns. But if you wanted to test out, does this campaign or does this ad, is it going to affect 40 to 50-year-olds more or 50 to 60-year-olds? That's one campaign, and we'd change the ad set.
Okay.
And you saw the split testing video that Will did yesterday, or if you didn't, you can go look at that. That's how we split test our ads. And really, like Will mentioned, it's super simple. If you just get one place and have your stuff pre-written out in one place. So I take a Google Doc and I literally like copy variant 1, copy variant 2, copy variant 3. Then you can just copy and paste that when you're putting it into your split tests. And then when you go back and are doing your analysis for your ads, then you can go back and make notes on those. So for example, today I did that for Body Smart. And I looked at our campaigns and, okay, copy variant 2. It had this many clicks at this cost per click on average. And so this one did way better than variant 3 and 1. And then I can look at why. I can sit there and dissect out why. Because testing stuff is great. And, having data and knowing which one is better is great. But then I also want to know why. And it's a lot easier if you have it all in one place to just go back and say, okay, for copy 1, what were the variations that I made? And then you think about, all right, for example, today, coupon versus voucher. And I could really clearly distinguish, okay, everything was the same on my copy, except for it said coupon here and it said voucher here. Why then is coupon less interesting to someone? Then you can start dissecting that out and make new changes next time you run the ad. So every single time I'm running an ad, I'll do those 3 variations. And then when it's done, I'll go back through and see, which one was the best. And then I'll pick the best one. I'll copy and paste it down below and I'll make a new change to that variation. And then I'll usually do one more variant that's like radically different somehow just to have, different. So that's how I go about testing and really tweaking on that side of things.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Cool. Casey, do you have any questions for us, man? I know that you're about to get into Facebook ads. You're in a little different boat where you're pulling people into a brand for more of a digital product. That's something that Will and I have been in and will be in actually over the next few months. But Casey, do you have any questions for us, man?
Yeah. I don't know if I have any specific questions yet, but I loved when you were talking about like friend requesting or, your personal profile compared to your business profile. Because I did a little test or whatever you want to call it last night. And I went through my group. We're almost at about 2,500 people. And I just put on a YouTube video and added as many people as I could. This morning / last night, I got about 3 to 4 messages asking if we can get on a phone call. I love what you're doing. Send some voice messages. So from there, I tried to get them into our chat bot on our Facebook page. So I was like, oh, we have a couple free things to give you. If you send us a message there, I can send them to you. Did some voice messages over there. Got on a call with 2 people today or something like that. So I loved it. I love when you guys were talking about that.
Dude, that is so powerful. Okay, so here's the thing that's going to just like blow that up is you friend request them, and then as soon as they accept, send them a little video. It takes 10 seconds in Facebook Messenger. You send them a video. Hey, John, Casey here. I just want to say thanks so much. We love having you in our group. I'm here to answer questions for you about getting into PT school. Let me know if you have any. Great to connect, man. Boom. You do that to every single one you do. Now, I get it. That takes some extra time. But when you send someone a video like that and it opens the conversation, you're the one starting it off, people will be like, whoa, I didn't even know you could send videos. Like you'll get that all the time. People are like, that's awesome. I don't feel comfortable sending you one, but yeah, I'd love to ask you these questions.
Gotcha.
Like lead gen to the max.
Can I do that with the people who, accepted, 19 hours ago.
Totally.
Is that still?
Of
okay.
course. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could do it to anyone. If so this is what I do because I'm not perfect on this, but if I friend request someone and then a few days go by, like they accept and like 3 or 4 days go by, I'll get on there and say, hey, Casey, it's Alex here. I realized I totally forgot to say hi when we connected, but just wanted to say thanks for accepting the friend request. I see that we're in this group together. Or I see that you have such and such. I connect with them at some level, whether it's 2 minutes into them being your friend or 20 days. You can make that up. That's just fine.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah, I'll try that out. I'll let you guys know how that works.
Please do. Yeah, man, post in the group about it because I love that strategy. And when I'm really doing it, it's so potent. And especially if you have something that you can send them to, like a chatbot or a site with like, oh, yeah, dude, I wrote a whole guide on this. Let me get it to you. What's your email address?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I'm going to try it. I'll let you guys know how it goes.
Okay, man.
Casey, using the chatbot, I am proud right now.
We're trying.
I love it. It's going to be the new email. I'm pumped.
Cool, guys. Well, Cameron, Mac, Casey, did you have any other questions? This is the chance to pick our brains. If you're here on the recording, ask your questions now. We'd love to hear them. This is the time to do it. We've got a couple more minutes. Did either of you have any last questions?
I think I'm gonna go back and watch more of I missed some of the videos leading up to this, so I think I might get most of my questions answered there. But definitely, I think my major thing is marketing to a local audience versus a global audience.
Totally.
And getting people to come in the door. So that conversion, and when you're doing that, you're optimizing for conversion, correct? Like there's no point of doing anything else when that's your goal, right?
So it depends, Mac. So again, we have to have our funnel in place. So what Alex and I tend to do is we lead an offer. We typically have an offer in place. So we're leading someone to a potential offer to grab something, whether they're going to be putting their information in or they're going to be paying for something. So we actually still do a lot of traffic campaigns. So link clicks. We want people to go to that page because our ad is oriented to what to expect in the next step. Right? If we say, hey, grab, we're doing a 75% off discount or 50% off, whatever, grab it here. Someone's probably not clicking that link because they're not sure what they're clicking on. They're already knowing what they're going to click on to get. And then they're taken to a landing page where then they can make the choice to make the behavior of what they want to do. Conversion from all the people I follow and listen do work. We've just traditionally found that pure link clicks or website visits, however you want to put it in, tends to work best if you're running an offer. Now, it could depend if you are trying to say, if you're running an ad, lead someone to a phone, like to a landing page that just has your phone number. Maybe that's different. We typically haven't run campaigns that way. We haven't run it where you're just trying to get someone to take an action organically. We try to make the process as smooth as possible for someone to know what step to do next.
Yeah. And Mac, keep in mind, because you're in our mastermind group, we'll be covering the ads stuff in depth in the group. Okay. And we'll actually give you some ad copy that's worked really well for us. So you'll be getting that over the next couple of weeks, but you're following the process step by step anyway. So we'll be working up to that as you're getting your lead magnets in place. We'll get your landing pages in place. So all in good time, man.
Perfect. I'm excited.
It'll be a lot of fun. Cameron, any last questions, man?
Not necessarily about Facebook ads. Mine is more about Facebook groups. So this may be better for a different time, but like getting a Facebook group up and running. And so if that's a whole other topic for a different day, which I know that's a broad topic, but like how do you take then this audience that you're building and say, hey, now I'm doing a group about all this stuff that I'm talking about, like come join my group. How do you make that transition? So, because I think it's so valuable to have people in a group because it just pushes all your content to them, like without you having to really push it or pay for it. But how do you create the group in the first place and get people to actually want to be in your group?
We do need to do a whole masterclass on that. Really, I think it's time because we've had so many questions about that.
Well, and you guys obviously knocked it out of the box, right? So like, Home run. But how do we replicate that then for a clinic? Because there's definitely some difference between like running those types of things for brick and mortar, like where my goal is butts in the door versus selling a widget or selling an online product, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's Cameron, I'll talk to you offline about this. And I think Will and I need to do a whole training on this one because this is a great question, but it's part of Facebook advertising is having a group.
And I think one of the most effective ways to Facebook advertise, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you have a captive audience.
Yes. Completely.
I think just briefly, I mean, the key pillars, I think when Alex and I talked about it and what Alex had helped us decide was one, community. So, if you have a brick and mortar, instead of just, it's a group about physical therapy in a certain city, but it's a more community oriented health, broader topic. And then two is over delivering, like providing so much value that people start telling their friends, you have to get in there. Like you need to join this group because of blank. Yeah. And that's what, I mean, that was sort of our plan. We were going to do it no matter what, but I think because we just said, let's just teach everything we possibly know and can give. And it was just, I think that's what really took it off was just, hey, you need to be in there. You need to see what's going on in there.
Yeah. So
we are pillars.
There's so many questions that I have about that. Like, should you do it on your own or should you partner up with people? Should you, like all kinds of stuff. So maybe there's your next course idea. You're welcome.
No, so for reals though, actually, I think next week we're going to have to just do a whole sequence throughout the week on group growth because a lot of people have been doing it. Obviously, Casey has been doing it. He has a group of 2,500 people now.
Wow.
Yes. Like wow times 100. Because of that, like their entire business is going to be run off that. Francisco Maya, he started a group, Healthy Dogs in Chicago. And now he just started a second group for canine PTs. Brianne Brown, she's got her groups. Like I could keep naming them off. People are building businesses and second income streams and lead generation machines from these groups. Yeah. I definitely think it's worth diving into. So Cameron, you just inspired us for the next round, which by the way, this is how you come up with content for stuff, right? You hold stuff like this and you talk to people. And I just mentioned this in our mastermind last night. For Will and I, talking with people one-on-one is one of the best content generation strategies that we have.
Right.
Like well, I sit there and I sift through my Facebook Messenger and I look at, okay, what messages did I get in the past week? What they asked me about? Great. I'll do live streams on that this week.
Well, we do that same thing with clients or patients every day, right? Like we have those conversations 100 times and it's just sitting down and saying, okay, what did I talk about with my patients today? Write down 5 things. It should be that easy, but then I like to complicate it by trying to make it all look pretty. And
hey, and I have an influence on that there too. I've man, it's tough, but
well, I've always been a perfectionist to the point that I get frozen. So
yeah, you guys are doing great stuff though, by the way.
I do have a quick question. Since Instagram is a part of Facebook, what are you guys' thoughts on Instagram? I know some of the images and maybe the videos are a little different because they have different guidelines, but have you guys tested Instagram and how well it converts?
In terms of advertising or in terms of organic content?
In terms of advertising for converting to patients.
Yeah. I mean, the basics, I'll just talk basics real quick. The basics are you have to have a square video, which you should be doing anyway for your Facebook ads. You should be doing square videos. In all our tests so far, square videos outperform like a full landscape video. So square videos on Instagram, same thing on Facebook. To be honest, I don't know if we've split tested enough to know the intricacies of what works versus what doesn't on Instagram. Although Will and I have a client that we're working with right now. And as I looked at it, 40% of our clicks were coming from Instagram for an offer to get in the clinic. 40%.
Wow.
Which like that's significant, right? And now the trouble is that we haven't been tracking conversions, so we don't know. And that's my next frontier is tracking which specific ads are actually leading towards a conversion. So that's my 2 cents. Will, how about you?
Yeah, I think it has the same potential as Facebook. I think we just have to be careful in how you run your campaign. So if your campaign is based off engagement, Instagram's going to dominate. I mean, I recently ran a campaign for a friend, and I set the campaign objective for engagement, right? So engagement meant likes or comments, right? 100% of the ads got put into Instagram because people like things on Instagram so much that they just double click the like, and it never even got put on Facebook. It got put on Instagram, and I would check it and was like, this is insane. Like, why isn't it going on Facebook? And it was just pure because Instagram is where engagement happens all the way. And so you have to be careful of what your campaign objective is, just as a heads up. Because that really opened my eyes to like, oh, okay, I need to really be very specific about this.
The people who are really doing this at the highest levels tell me that you should not be putting one ad on Instagram and the same one on Facebook. They say that you should, at least at the ad set level, be splitting those out. So if you are running ads on Instagram, split it out to Instagram and then split it out to Facebook at the ad set level.
So that was my next question. So because I've done it like that where I have the same everything. The only thing I changed is but the only thing I know that I have the same copy, the same picture, the same everything. But then I just have Facebook mobile feed and then Instagram mobile feed, obviously. So I haven't seen a significant difference in results yet for what I've been doing. But I was wondering, I guess, if you guys seen any. So I guess we'll probably wait for you to test it out a little more and track conversions.
Well, and we can test it out with you too. When you're running your ads, what we'll do is we'll make sure to set up those split tests right and see, does longer form copy work better on Instagram? Does short little like emoji heavy copy work better on Instagram? Are videos better? Is text better? Right? Like, because we know generally for Facebook, and I'll just have to go split out. So we've done it. Cameron and I've done a ton of tests, and I'll just have to go split out the information because you can actually still get all of the information to break it out between Instagram and Facebook. It's just easier to do if it's split out at the ad set level. But yeah, we'll test that out, man, as we go forward.
Perfect. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Again, thank you so much. This is great information for us. Like, we gotta focus on Instagram advertising. We gotta focus on Facebook group growth. So
yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for being here. This has been really fun. This past week, Will and I have been learning a lot of stuff on all of this. So we've just loved brain dumping it somewhere. This really helps us to hone in what we know and get it out to you guys. If you have specific questions after the fact, if you're looking through this on the replay, ask them, please. Post them in the group, or you can put them here in the comments. And I would love to hear your success with ads as you're doing stuff. So if you take something and apply it from this live stream, please let us know in the group. Say, hey guys, I tested this out. I sent some videos to people when they friended me and it was awesome. Or I started posting more on my personal page and now I got all these extra likes on my business page because of it. That's the sort of stuff we want to hear because it benefits all of us. So thank you so much, Will. It's been a total pleasure guiding this with you, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here, guys.
Heck yeah.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see y'all in the group. Peace.